Welcome to the Yoga Society podcast, where yoga is for everyone. I'm Martha Cottrell, and in each episode, we explore yoga, mindfulness, and movement for wherever you are in your journey. So let's get started. I'm here today with Mia Manito. She's the owner of Upeksha, a yoga studio and healing center downtown Toronto.
Hi.
Okay, really excited for this conversation. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your yoga journey?
Okay, so I have been practicing, I would say, yoga my whole life, I guess. As a kid, now that I've been trained in yoga or have had or completed courses, I find that I'm sorry, I'm just like,
That's okay.
okay. It's all snippets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. So I think I've been practicing pretty much my whole life. I used to meditate as a child and didn't know it was meditation until later on in adulthood when I actually took the yoga courses. I've been practicing, I guess, asana for almost like 20 years, just being an active child, looking for different ways to like stretch and move my body. And then I've been certified for about almost 10 years and have been teaching since then, part-time and sort of full-time for the last like 6 years of my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's circle back to how you were meditating as a child. Do you mean, were you guided or did you just sit as a kid?
Yeah, I was always a very hyperactive kid. I was always doing something, energy levels were always high, but for some reason I would go into these deep states of just doing nothing and just staring off into a distance, whether it was candles or just sitting outside and just staring at the sun. I would just kind of zone out. It was an interesting experience. And now that I do it today in my practice, the um the effects are kind of the same that I remember when I was a kid. Like you would zone out for so long that almost everything just turns into like you start to see colors and vibrations and things would start to distort. If you do it long enough, like everything even turns black.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did people around you notice? Like, did your parents or your family
No, it wasn't a thing where I was doing it around people. It would almost be like I was around the house and maybe everyone was in their rooms, or it wasn't even a thing I would schedule. It would just be like, oh, I'm here by myself. I'm just going to sit and like do nothing for however long. And I think that was the only time I ever found myself to just be doing nothing as a kid.
Yeah.
I never really understood it. I thought it was really cool. I think I remember thinking like, oh, that's really cool. Like all the colors are changing, everything's shifting and distorting. And then we did it in our yoga training in India. And I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I was doing this as a child. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I think it is interesting. I've noticed that there are things that people experience as a child.
Yeah.
We learn more. I've had like similar experience, same but different.
Yeah.
Where I'm like in a workshop, learned something, and I'm like, this brings me back to something I did inherently, like naturally as a child.
Yeah, and I find that we're so fresh as children. We're so connected to source that we're just naturally doing these things. And everyone just writes it off as, oh, they're just a kid. And, oh, yeah, she just does that. But they're actual, real spiritual practices that right now in today's society we're using as a tool to kind of remind us again that we're outside of what we think that we are.
And it's so important. So it's great that we have spaces like Upeksha to bring us back to. Yeah. And to expose people to different types of practices.
Yeah. And I feel like there is a big community out there that wants to learn a little bit more beyond the asana practice. As it is very westernized here as just like sort of like a workout or a way to like move your body, but asana is just rooted to connect both your mind and your body and your breath all together to create the foundations for meditation. And from meditation, you go into deeper conscious states, and there's levels to it. And yeah, so I'm really happy that we're here in this sort of concrete jungle, ready to, really touch people in ways that they may not be getting a full yoga practice elsewhere. Yeah.
So tell us about how your journey kind of from your meditating as a child, eventually you took your teacher training in India. What happened in between? What was your first yoga class like, and how'd you decide to teach?
My first yoga class was just a DVD in my living room. Yeah, a long time ago. I wanted to just gain some flexibility. Like I said, I was always an active child. I always played sports, and it was just another way to like move my body. And then later down in adulthood, my best friend took me to my first hot yoga class. And I was really, at the end of it, was like, what was that? It almost like it was so torturous. Oh. Yeah, but at the end of it, I just felt like my senses were so heightened. I felt muscle activations around my body that I've never felt before. And that I also just felt like, I don't know, for the first time, I felt like I could breathe. Like I felt my breath. And I was lucky enough that the teacher, although she was very like um physically challenging, offered a very physically challenging class, she still had a lot of aspects to what yoga is and embodying the philosophy, which I really appreciate, being my first class. So I can only imagine if there's teachers offering just asana and people just assume that's just what yoga is. Yeah, exactly. Where there's so much to the practice, and every style is different. Every teacher is different. Yeah. This is Lucky, guys. He's our studio puppy, Lucky. This is Lucky Shala. Good boy. The sweetest boy. Okay, so you took your first hot yoga class and then continued with the practice, and tell us about how you decided to teach. Yeah, I continued with the practice more so, once again, for just like the physical aspects of it, and I could tell that it was awakening things that were deeper. I think what made me decide to do my teacher training, and to be honest, was just because I had no idea what to do. I was working as a bartender and server. I was doing courses but dropping out of them, and then realized that the only thing that has been consistent, that I've been consistent and disciplined in, was showing up for my yoga class. And at the time, I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher, to be honest, but I did know that one day I wanted to have my own business. So the first step was just to get my teacher training. And so I did my 200 hours in Rishikesh, India. I wanted a traditional base practice because I was lucky enough to to grow up with teachers that were traditional based. So I wanted the foundations, but I did feel like I still wanted to stay relatable to the community that I was in. So I did more training, but in Vancouver at Sapir Viva Yoga College, which is now no more, sadly. But that's where I did all my extensive training from there. That's great. What do you think is one thing that you learned either from your trainings or from teaching or from owning a studio that has surprised you? That there is no end. Very true. There is no end to shedding the layers and finding deeper things about you that you didn't even know was there. And it really starts to break down your habitual thought patterns. The same stories that you tell yourself will give you sort of the same results in your life. And if you wanted to change your life, you have to change the stories that you're telling yourself. Yeah, every step from being a student to doing my training to being a teacher to owning a studio, each stage has literally turned me inside out.
Yeah.
And where I think that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm done and I'm chill and I'm cool, and it's just like, no, there's deeper work always. And eventually it just ends up being about not even about you, it ends up being about servicing the community and servicing other people, and being a guide to help people go down the same path of selflessness and service.
I love that. That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And so important.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're very caught up in the yoga is about me and how I look, and it's become sort of like a culture. And then you peel back the layers and realize there's so much more.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to somebody who's just starting out, either just starting out their yoga journey or they've been doing it for a while, but they're looking to go deeper into maybe the more meditative aspects? What would you suggest?
Explore.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will tell me I did a yoga class, I didn't like it. And it's like, okay, that's you did one class. Maybe didn't like the style of the teacher. Maybe you weren't prepared for what she was offering you. Like, just keep exploring, try different teachers, try different studios, see what you resonate with and see what you don't resonate with. And if you don't resonate with something, maybe later down the road you might. And you'll think back to that moment and be like, oh my God, that teacher said that and I didn't understand it. And then now I do.
Yes.
So my advice would be just to explore. There's no right or wrong. There's not even good or bad. It's just showing up and doing the work and watching the unfolding happen.
I love exactly. I think that's one of the beautiful things about that yoga has to offer us, anybody, is all the different styles and how if you put yourself out there and you're open to try new things, knowing that every studio, every style, every teacher is different, eventually you'll know how to help yourself, which practices to pull on at the time that you need it the most. Like some days it's a slower, more meditative, like a yin practice, a meditation, and some days it is the more powerful flows.
Yeah. And I find that once you kind of grow into your own practice, you start to realize that all this like really fast-paced classes that are very hardcore and hard on your body, that's great, but it builds a lot of fire internally, and you need to be balanced with all elements. So just explore it, especially if you hate slow classes. That probably means you need the slow classes. Right? And same thing, people just come to yoga to just relax, and maybe it's sort of like an easy practice they're looking for. Maybe they need to go to those harder ones and discover more things about themselves being put in those situations.
Exactly. What you resist is that which you need the most.
Whatever you resist persists. The classic saying.
Okay, and you also do a lot of sound healing.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about sound healing, kind of how it works? And
you know what? I wish I could speak on an expert level. I have some great teachers here that offer sound, Jade Montana and Rennie Sanson. I hope I said that right, but they're kind of like the sound gurus here.
Oh,
I just kind of sub in for them when I need to, but essentially what sound does, it just kind of helps you on an energetic level. Everything is frequency. Even though we see things as solids, they're really just cells or whatever it is, energy balls that are just vibrating so closely together. And the way that you view it, it's a solid entity, but nothing's really ever solid. Everything's energy, everything's vibration. And what the sounds do is it just helps to kind of recalibrate everything so that it's not vibrating at like an intense level or not activated enough. Like when you think about cancer cells around your body, it's because they're constantly reproducing, they're constantly and then eventually they just kind of take over the whole body, right? So what sound does, it kind of just helps reset vibrationally, but also on a relaxation level, it helps stimulate the brain. That helps you come into those deep, relaxed meditation states, almost like the state that you're in when you're dreaming. And that's when your body actually starts to physically heal itself. Yeah. So, yeah, that's sound.
That's a good explanation.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
I didn't have the gongs.
yeah. None of these are mine. These are all Brandy's, and they're beautiful. And he has a really nice setup here, and I'm so grateful for him and Jay to be offering their magic here. So
I can just imagine, like, in this space, because it's not a big room, but the powerful gongs, I can just imagine how powerful it would feel.
Yeah. People have explained to us and told us that this room is perfect for sound.
Yeah.
Because everywhere else are these like big box yoga studios with big rooms, and the sound can't bounce off the walls. They kind of just start to dissipate into the air. So this is a nice little box and container that we've created to kind of trap everything in here. And our sound classes have been really picking up, and people have said they were the best in the city, and I agree. I have 2 a week.
I love it. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you should definitely.
Okay, and tell us about any other healing modalities that you practice yourself or that you offer.
I do Thai massage. Something that I kind of learned as a student. I wouldn't say learned. I learned it after I became a teacher, but I just found the practice of Thai yoga massage to be so effective. I used to have just these blockages in my body. I would just wake up and say, and see that I couldn't even like move my shoulder. I didn't know what I did. But the only people that were able to fix me were my yoga friends who did Thai massage. So I decided to do the training myself because I believed in it so much. And from there, now I've been offering Thai massage with a little bit of Reiki. Every Thai massage kind of gets a little bit of Reiki. But other than that, we have also other Reiki practitioners that work out here, sound healers. Our Monday night teacher, Garvey, she does something called chronic healing, which is similar to Reiki. Just a lot of energy clearing and just getting really deep into the meditative state. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
For people who are listening who might not know what Thai massage is, could you explain it?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Thai massage is a combination of both, I would say like FSC. I would say it's the original OG fascial stretch technique.
Okay.
But instead of like putting you on a table and strapping you down, I put you on the floor and I just use my arms and my legs to stabilize certain parts of your body so that I can stretch the other part. And then also massage you in that stretch. Very different from traditional RMT massage where you're just kind of laying down and facing up. I massage you seated, in child's pose, lying down, side lying, depending on what your body needs, will determine sort of like what yoga pose I'm putting you in.
That sounds lovely. I think everyone
needs it. And at anytime people find Thai massage, they're like, okay, I'm convinced. I'm hooked. Yeah.
Especially the complement to your movement practices.
Yeah. So sometimes I don't adjust much, but sometimes I do in my classes. And I use Thai massage techniques.
So I ask everybody this question.
Okay.
I love this question because I think every person I ask has a different answer.
Yeah.
So for you,
okay,
what is yoga? And what does yoga mean to you?
Yoga is a lifelong journey. It's not practice on your mat. It's practice. It's a lifestyle. It's something that you embody. It's something that you carry with you, and it's a practice to where you realize that not only are you just more or more outside of what you know about yourself, but you're connected. We're all connected. And we all come from sort of the same source. Yeah, so I think that's it. Off the top of my head. I mean, there's so much that I could explain, but the gist of it is just kind of realize that you're outside of yourself and that we're all interconnected on some level. And yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Did it take you from the time when you were meditating as a child and then you learned more systematic approach to meditation, I want to say, in the training, did you find that your meditation practice deepened, or did you kind of continue doing the same thing as what you were doing before?
When I was guided in my yoga training, it definitely deepened. And also the times that I went to Vipassana as well. When you really center your focus, and that's all meditation is, it's to help control the mind. There are parts of yoga that tells you that it's about letting go of the thoughts, and that's a different thing. But meditation essentially is to focus the mind. And I found that when you're super focused, and I've learned this in both my teacher training and going into Vipassana, is that when you're super focused in one area of your body, you can actually feel the cells on that part of your body. So we went into a third eye meditation in India, and my teacher, all he did in the meditation, we were completely silent. All he kept saying is just like, think about your eye, you think about your forehead opening up like a flower. And he literally just said that over and over again for 1 hour.
Wow.
And then eventually I just felt like sensations starting from like the center of my brain all the way to my forehead. And it was rooted all the way from the spine and went all the way up to the forehead and crown of the head. And that was like, I think, one of my first experiences ever feeling that on a physical level. And then same thing with Vipassana. There was a point where they said, feel feel the top of your head all the way down towards your toes, and you just start to feel everything, like all the cells moving. The only other time I felt that way outside of meditation was when I did ayahuasca. Oh my goodness. And then I was like, whoa, I feel every part of my flesh bag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's, everything that you've ever done or experienced on psychedelics, you can experience with meditation, just with focus, control of the mind, dedication, and consistency.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I felt it in some ways.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So we need to now circle back.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
to ayahuasca and the Vipassanas.
Okay.
Because those are both really interesting points. Let's go back to ayahuasca. Tell us about your experience with ayahuasca.
I wanted a traditional experience in Peru with a shaman, and that's what I had. But so my journey, I didn't go as far deep as I thought I would go in ayahuasca. There was a lot of moments where it's like fighting with myself. And I'm sure everyone who has done it will say kind of the same thing. There's this point of resistance. Like, I don't need to vomit. That's what I kept saying to myself. But eventually, like, I just did, and everything just started happening. The distortions, the colors, feeling my flesh bag, and then my experience personally, and everyone else's experience is going to be different, is that I just received messages, one for myself and one to other people that I needed to go and tell them.
Did you tell them?
Yeah.
Do that?
Yeah, they didn't care.
Oh, okay.
Well, they just was like, okay, whatever. Like, they thought it was very woo-woo, and I said, oh, like, I just have to tell you this, and that's it. And some of them were sort of lessons that they needed to learn, but people are sometimes resistant to things that they want to learn about themselves. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, and they'll come to learn it when they're ready.
Yeah. I hope maybe one day they'll look back and be like, "Man, Mia did say that like 10 years ago."
Yeah.
And I only got it now. You know?
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they will. Yeah, so there's so much power in letting go is what I'm hearing from that when you're resisting like vomiting, for example. And like you have to just surrender. Yeah, out of the process.
Yeah. I it's very cliche sayings now to just surrender and let go, but there's real truth in it. Yeah.
Can you share the message that you got for yourself, or
I think I felt a bit to myself for this time. Yeah. Yeah, totally. But yeah, no, it was sad. It was a sad message, but also a happy one. So
okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Then Vipassana. You mentioned that you've done a couple.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get into my third Vipassana. I've done 2 so far. I completed it from front to back. And my first experience was way different than my second.
How so?
My first experience, I was like, wow, this is great. Like, I don't have to talk to anyone. I'm having a cell phone detox. It's almost like having a vacation.
Yeah.
And just even learning the techniques that they were taught and just solely focusing 10 days of just nothing but meditation. No talking, no writing in your journal, no reading. Yeah. It's meditation or naps.
Wow.
Or walking.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm sure people have cheated. I wanted an authentic experience. You're supposed to hand over your cell phone at the beginning and your car keys, which I didn't, but I just tucked them away underneath my bed and just never looked at them since. But no, I kept true to the practice and was just in complete silence, meditating 3 hours in group sits, and then you have to just meditate anytime you're not sleeping. That's what you're doing. So I found the experience to be so profound at the end that you don't really feel the need to talk to anyone. And even just the sound of music, listening to music for the first time after that just felt like you were hearing it for the first time in your entire life, like you were deaf for your whole life, and all of a sudden you hear sound, you're like, wow. Yeah. And then my second experience was just, I went into comparison mode because my first was so great that my second time around I kept comparing it to the first, and asking why wasn't I having these profound experiences, and just like thinking that every experience is going to be a trajectory up. I'm just going to be more enlightened and more, everything's going to be more profound. And it was just, I was creating my own torture, having these expectations. And normally I don't talk to any of the teachers, or I didn't last time. But this time it was so hard. I couldn't let go of the fact that I wasn't having a great time. That I sat with one of the teachers and she's like, but that's just what you're experiencing. This is your experience now. There's no right or wrong, or not in those exact words, but that's kind of what she meant, right? And then it put things in perspective for me that I was like, why am I comparing my first to my second experience? Why am I having this expectation of just more growth, more this, more that? Like, it's all growth. Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily have to feel great.
Yeah, it's definitely not linear.
Yeah.
I think those are probably pretty normal thoughts. Like anybody would feel that way when the second time around, be like, okay, this should be like the next level, you know. But you're right. It's hard to let go of this. There's some sort of paradox of like self improvement, and when you're on this path to like growth and discovery and things, and you want to keep learning and keep growing and keep improving, but that desire alone is contradictory to the growth. And it's messy, like you said before.
Yeah.
The more you dig, the more there is.
Yeah. It's a never ending layers on layers.
Did you do the Vipassanas here in New Toronto?
Yeah, I did it in a cell. I did them in Innisfil, just north of here, 2 hours north, and I met some people around the world that have done Vipassana elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they said that the Toronto Center, or like the center in Ontario, is one of the best ones. I've heard some really crazy stories elsewhere. Like in Thailand, just like also people just offering Vipassana that aren't really saying it's Vipassana, but it's not Vipassana.
Yeah.
Making people stay up for like 3 days in a row.
Oh, okay.
Just like weird things, and or just things outside of the technique. So I was really happy that here it's very authentic. It's very true to what the practice is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to explore other modalities, you can, but it's not Vipassana.
Yeah. But could somebody go into that without knowing the technique? Like, do they guide you through?
Yeah. Everything is guided. They guide every sit down comes at the beginning, and then and they provide support. You have options to chat with one of the teachers, and it's something that everybody can really try out for themselves. Lucky I'm doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just be mindful of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's a couple more things I wanted to ask you before we finish that.
Yeah.
Number one, do you have any like a daily morning or evening routine or something that helps to keep you grounded?
Oh dear God, as an entrepreneur, no. I wish I do, but it's definitely, once again, like I said, it's turned me inside out. So I think right now my practice is being dedicated to a morning routine. Whereas I would say, like, when I used to just live a very free life and travel, first thing you do in the morning, meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Meditate, go for a walk, go outside. When me and Lucky were away on vacation for the first thing that we did, we got up, we got ready, we took a 2-hour walk on the beach. That was our meditation. Came back.
Nice.
Yeah. So to keep myself grounded, I wouldn't say I have anything routine, but when I need to, I just do the practice of nothing.
Perfect.
Yeah. Lay on the ground, do nothing 5 minutes.
Yeah. We do need more of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so it's a luxury that we don't have enough of here.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and we get snippets in yoga or meditation practices.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the nice things about when you go to a yoga class and at the beginning or at the end, or if it's a yin class throughout most of it, it's almost like you're given permission.
Yeah.
To lay there, to slow down.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us need that when we're so ingrained that we must be productive, we must be doing something always.
Yeah, hustle culture.
Yeah.
You're not doing something, you're lazy or whatever the case is.
Do you have a mantra or a phrase that you live by or you like to live by?
The people ask me this all the time as a yoga teacher. There's so many sayings out there. I think the one staple that I've ever stuck to was one from my teacher from India. So simple. Light your own fire.
I like that.
Yeah.
Light your own fire.
Yeah, light your own fire. Be accountable. Be present. Be here. Light your own fire can have so many different context to it, and it just applies to a lot.
Yes. I know, that's what I was thinking of. There's so many interpretations.
Yeah, so many interpretations.
Which is a great personal mantra to have because you can apply it in so many scenarios.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Thank you.
Energy with us.
Thank you for coming by, and thank you for doing all of this.
Yeah.
Grateful for you too and the work that you're doing.
I'm so excited for everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Yoga Society podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe and share it with someone who could use a little more mindfulness in their day. See you next time.